The ICJ issued a legal opinion today saying that Israel obstructed delivery of aid to Gaza and committed acts of genocide. How significant is that?
Well, first, Ms. Mona, thank you for having me today, and greetings to your viewers. And one of the things that we have noted with this trip is that even though President Trump and Netanyahu keep saying they are dealing with Hamas, in actuality, it appears that Trump and Vance are trying to contain Netanyahu, trying to contain Israel, and trying to contain the IDF. And this is what Vice President Vance's trip to Israel has been about. A great example is the cessation of the ceasefire on Sunday when Israel said that Hamas had fired on IDF soldiers and then retaliated with airstrikes. And we see now that this was actually unexploded ordnance left by Israelis that their bulldozers had run over, which caused the explosion. And so it appears that what Israel is trying to do is they are desperate to reposition this ceasefire and to reposition the peace plan in a way that they can continue with their agenda. We know that their agenda is to essentially to continue the ethnic cleansing and to continue the displacement of the Palestinian people. And this is unacceptable to Donald Trump. Donald Trump wants the war to be over. He wants the killing to stop. And due to his transactional nature, Trump appears to be willing to browbeat and essentially to contain Netanyahu in order to keep this plan moving forward. We know there are a great deal of problems with this plan as far as the phase 2 timeline, whether the phase 1 return of the Israel's captives will be able to continue because Israel itself is preventing the entry of excavation equipment, whereas the Americans are trying to assist with locating the bodies of the hostages. So everything is very fluid, very dynamic right now. What we do know is that this is the best chance we have to move forward with any semblance of peace right now. This is because the world is watching and the world is witnessing the ongoing Israeli genocide and ongoing ethnic cleansing, and the world is saying enough. As a result of this, Israel itself is at its most diplomatically and politically weakest state. We know they are weak militarily because they have not been able to accomplish their goals in Gaza. And now the next interesting step is going to be the formation of an international peacekeeping or stabilizing force. President Trump has made threats. We see he's at his most belligerent when he knows least what the next step is and when he feels politically weakest. But he did say that he has Arab nations that are willing to come in and defeat Hamas. Well, we know this is a sticking point because first, Israel does not want to let any troops from any other nation into Gaza to bear witness to their actions. Secondly, what international troop is going to want to come in and either insert themselves between Israeli fire on the Palestinians or become agents of Israeli oppression. So this next step of negotiations is going to be threading a needle, and this is when we are going to realize that the Palestinians themselves have far greater political power than anyone realizes at this point. And the important thing now is to bring in other Palestinian groups. For example, the leader, Mustafa Barghouti, essentially to widen the negotiating team, bring in as many Palestinian voices as possible to represent the interests of the Palestinian people at a time that Israel is being contained by Trump and is also at their politically weakest point.
If I may ask you now, Vice President J.D. Vance described the Gaza ceasefire as going better than expected, and that this ceasefire deal will hold. Now, how accurate is this assessment when violations by the occupation army continue almost daily?
Well, J.D. Vance is correct that the ceasefire is fragile. And in fact, what we have seen is every single day since this agreement was signed.
No, he didn't say that it was fragile. In fact, he's saying that it is holding and it's going better than expected. And better than expected, we're not aware how better than expected it should be when the Israeli occupation forces are violating the truce or the ceasefire every day and is also killing some Palestinians. So what do you think? How accurate is what Mr. J.D. Vance said?
Well, and my apologies, I have heard other parties say that the ceasefire is fragile, but we do see that President Trump has sent J.D. Vance, his heaviest hitter, to force I don't want to say the ceasefire, but to force progress moving forward. And because J.D. Vance says that the ceasefire is stronger than ever, the ceasefires or stronger than anticipated, and the ceasefire is holding, this is sheer will of personality and sheer determination to keep things moving forward. Trump does not want this peace plan to fail. He has his reputation, his legacy, and indeed the future of his presidency at home riding on this. This is because he's battling with Congress, many of the military-industrial complex. The Lindsey Grahams in Congress want the war to continue, and they want to come down on the side of Israel. And there are other forces, Trump's base, that want this ceasefire to move forward. They want America first, not Israel first. So right now, J.D. Vance...
But here, Ms. Chapman, Washington seems to prioritize the success of the ceasefire over the occupation showing restraint. Now, how much real leverage does the U.S. have to enforce that on Israel if it wants this ceasefire to hold?
Historically, American presidents have never had leverage over Netanyahu or over Israel. We've seen this going back Jimmy Carter, Bill Clinton, even Obama, who was the most resistant to Israel, also found himself caught up in the American Zionist ideology and the American war machinery. And President Trump is not as ideological as, for example, Joe Biden. Joe Biden said he was an avowed Zionist. He was completely 100% on the side of Israel. For President Trump, we see that Trump, Witkoff, Kushner, they have long-standing business ties, personal relationships, and essentially also, in addition to business ties, Trump is forging American military ties with the Gulf states. This is a recognition on the part of America that for America itself to succeed, we need positive partnerships with our Arab allies, with the Arab nations, with the Gulf states. And President Trump is also, he himself is in a difficult position right now because the war in Ukraine is not going well. He is under a lot of pressure over Venezuela. So Trump is having a very difficult time containing Netanyahu.